met you before? No? You seem familiar. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
No worries. So, we're just wondering, where are you from, and did you grow up in a family that celebrated a culture that wasn't British at all?
So I'm from the UK, from a town called Lowestoft. It's on the east coast, uh, like on the coast of the beach. Um, did we celebrate anything non-UK? I don't think so. No, like
Okay.
very British kind of family.
Yeah, no, I was the same.
Yeah, all standard, standard childhood. Thank you.
What is your favourite recipe to cook and why?
Uh, so I don't cook that much, to be honest. So we do like a gusto thing where you get food through the post
Oh,
to do dinners, right? So we do that now, and I'm the one that always does those. So I enjoy following recipes and cooking food, but if I have any downtime, it's not something I default to. I won't go and bake a cake or
that's
anything. I'll just yeah, if I need to, I'll make, and I enjoy doing it. But I wouldn't say I've got a favorite recipe. I have to say cookies, I guess, because that's what we're famous for. That's
what
usually
kind of recipes do you get from the Gusto box to cook?
so we choose it every time, so you can just let it kind of choose itself, but we choose it every time to vary it up a bit and try and get all the different meats, so fish and beef and pork. Try and vary it around, and we like kind of pasta bake type of stuff, or we had pork loin the other day.
Nice.
Um, yeah, curries and like burgers in buns and stuff like that. So yeah, try and keep it varied.
Cool. Do you have any personal, like, family traditions relating to food at all?
I guess the only one which probably most people have is Christmas.
Yeah.
So at Christmas time, we will gather around a meal, and my mum will always prepare Christmas dip, and that's kind of the only time of year that we're together nowadays.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'd call it a tradition.
Yeah, no, that's lovely. And because you work in Loughborough, I imagine you meet lots of different types of people from lots of different backgrounds. So, in your opinion, as a someone who works in a local business, do you think that food unites people?
Sorry, you cut off a bit. Do I
Sorry.
think what?
Do you think that food unites people?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the whole. Well, one of the driving forces behind our business is that we one of our main goals is to bring people together in a community, and you can do that in loads of different ways, and it doesn't have to involve food. But it feels like food is one of the easier ways to do it because everybody's got to eat
Yeah.
and food, and yeah, even more so for us that we kind of chose a food type that was very enjoyable as well. So um, I would it's probably more difficult to unite people over say dinner meals or lunch meals, but when you put cookies and brownies and coffee in front of them, then it seems much easier.
That is true. Everyone likes a good cookie and brownie.
Speaking of which,
What is your favourite type of food that you can get in a restaurant or anywhere, really?
um, I don't know. I guess it depends on my mood.
Hmm.
Sometimes I would answer you steak, something very simple, but like incredible when it's done well.
Yeah.
Other times, like a curry is great when you're in the mood, and other times I just like snacky things like you might get at our cafe. So a nice chunky sandwich, good coffee, and a sweet treat. I'm just gonna plug myself in. My
Yeah,
laptop's just
no,
gonna die.
absolutely go for it.
Sorry, I don't have the most aesthetic of backgrounds, but health and safety board.
I mean, health and safety is always important, though. Gotta remind everyone, even over Zoom.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Go for it.
Can you name a time where food has brought you personally closer to people?
Um, I guess myself, I'm probably like a more introverted person. My wife Marta, who I run the business with, is definitely the extrovert between us. Um, so I find myself in a situation now, like a few years down the line since we opened, that I'm having conversations like this that I would never ever have had if I wouldn't have got involved in the food business. So it's you asked for a particular time. I mean, yeah, I'd say like getting involved in a food business has definitely brought me closer to people. Not in any one particular time, but just the fact of doing it.
No, that's
Um,
yeah.
and yeah, there's been lots of different ways that. Yeah, I mean, when I serve in the cafe, I'm talking to people, and those are specific times where I'm having individual conversations with people that I would never have had I carried on in the career I had, which was I was an engineer at Rolls-Royce, so it was very much sat at a desk and doing work there. Of course, you spoke to people, but not in
Yeah.
the same way that you get the chance to here. So, yeah, it definitely has. Yeah,
Yeah. No, that's really cool. Are you personally religious, and does this affect your preparation of food at all?
I'm a Christian, so I attend a local church. Me and my wife and family. Does it? I don't think it affects the way I prepare food. So yeah, it's the I guess you'd call it the type of Christianity which I follow is like evangelical,
Yep.
and it would there's Jewish culture that comes from the Old Testament that some Christianity follows through on, but yeah, evangelical Christianity is simply about preaching the gospel and telling people Jesus is Lord. So no, it doesn't have any implications on how I prepare food.
Okay. And what is the best part for you about owning a restaurant business in Loughborough?
And the best part is I can get really good coffee brought to me whenever I want it.
That is a perk.
Definitely, and yeah, and food as well. So, uh, from kind of a fun perspective, from a more serious perspective, I really value the opportunity to have an impact on people's lives. Um, yeah, you don't often realize it when you're, trying to tweak a recipe for a cookie or whatever, but some way down the line, you then see people coming into your cafe, sitting, having a good time together with a cookie in front of them, and you're not the one that's made them friends or whatever, but you're enabling that. You're giving them a place to be. You're setting up an environment that they can feel comfortable and enjoy themselves. And so that's where I get a lot of my satisfaction from is seeing those relationships, those communities kind of build and grow together.
Lovely. They are all the questions that I have. Sian, I'm not sure if you have any more.
I have one particular question, and mine would be if you had to travel to 3 different places in the world to like try out their food, where would it be and why?
I've been to one of them, which is New York. So I love the culture of New York in particular, and it's obviously like a coffee shop type of culture. Lots of coffee shops there, but loads of other innovative types of cuisine as well. So yeah, New York. I'd really like to go to Lebanon purely for the food. So I love Tabush restaurant in Loughborough. It's one of my favourite places to go. So yeah, I really love that type of food, and to try it actually in its origin would be amazing. Where else? I don't know. I guess me and my wife we plan to go to Japan at some point. I wouldn't say I'm especially drawn to Japanese food, but it's definitely going to be part of the trip, the experience going there is going to be trying the Japanese food, which I'm really looking forward to as well. So
That sounds
whilst
good.
it's not like food that I eat regularly at all here, it's yeah, definitely something to look forward to. So.
Yeah, for sure. I imagine how we prepare it here is probably nothing like how they prepare it there.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you said that you like the New York culture, one question is, do you prefer New York style pizza or Chicago style pizza?
Ooh.
Let me just clarify what the style is here. So New York style, you're talking thinner base,
Yeah.
Chicago deep base. Probably out of those two, New York, but overall, I would go for an Italian sourdough type pizza. The one
Oh,
that,
interesting.
Pizzeria, if you know them in Loughborough.
Yeah, they're lovely.
Pizza that
Yeah.
they do. So we have the pizza truck comes to our Derwent Drive store.
Then that's probably where you've seen me before. At Freshers.
Okay. Eating pizza, right?
Cool.
But yeah, those are my questions for you today.
Okay. So tell me more about the projects.
So it's with the university, and we basically walked into one of our modules, and they were like, "Oh, we've been approached by the EU Arts Connection because one of our lecturers, is working in partnership with a uni in Australia on this type of thing."
So firstly, we're going to leave the EU, but also Australia's not in the EU. So how does this work?
Honestly, we're not sure how it works, but the company, the project running it, is the EU
Okay.
Arts Connection. It's what they're called. They're kind of like funding the research, and what we're doing here is basically just a segment of that research where we are making a soundscape, basically. So we're chatting to as many people as possible. Obviously, COVID climate is making that, like, we have to get a bit more creative with that. But we are just chatting to people about their experiences of food, their favourite kinds of food, whether they think it unites people, and we're talking to different businesses in Loughborough, but we're also talking to just like consumers, and also university students. So it's just a rounded picture of kind of everyone's experience of food.
Yeah, and we're like